and we're back to live video. And everybody who's here, welcome. So glad you're here this evening. We're going to kick things off in just a second, but as we do around here, is Jeff and I have been meeting just ourselves and decided that our protocol is going to be, we're going to have a quick prayer first and then we'll dive right in. So everybody pray with me. Lord, thank you for this event this evening. Thank you for the information that we have to share. And I pray that everybody here would hear what you have for them and that we can walk away from this excited and ready to help some people with their health. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. So, welcome everybody who's here, and we're glad you're here. It's good to see you all. This evening, we're going to have a kind of question and answer interview type format, pretty informal. Couple things I want to share up front is we're a little new to this technology, so if you see some glitches or whatever, you just, forgive us, and we'll move on. Not a big deal. And the other thing is, Jeff is still experiencing some issues with his lungs from some health issues in the fall, and you will probably hear him cough once in a while. It's just part of what we've got going, so bear with us on that. And I'm going to also make sure that all attendees are muted other than Jeff and Karin and I, and that'll enhance your viewer experience as well. So
I wanted to add something, Crystal, really quick.
Go ahead.
We have everybody brought in on live on Jeff's Journey page. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it up on my computer, so we have them on phone. So hi, everybody that's watching live. We're actually recording with Crystal with the software that we have. So we're recording it there. We're going live here. So for those of you watching live on Facebook, you won't actually get to see Crystal, who's the moderator of this roundtable tonight. So, but you'll hear her voice, and you'll be able to see Jeff and I as we talk. So I just wanted to kind of share that with the folks that are watching on the live.
Awesome. Way to go. All right. Just the next thing I'm going to do is just get this party started. So some of you may or may not know, but my background is I was a traffic manager for a while, and it just got too stressful. I decided to step away from my own health and needed to take that break and heal from some things, and this was happening around the same time that Jeff was experiencing his issues too. So we've got kind of a journey that mirrors each other, and so it's really good that we can learn and grow together. And we wanted to team up and start helping people. So that is the purpose for this interaction, this roundtable. And those of you who are listening in are most likely familiar with a little bit of Jeff's story, but we're going to kind of give you an overview tonight of that, and then also dive into some of the information that they've discovered that through their research and so forth through the last several months. Some really critical things that actually are helpful to anybody in any health condition. So we're looking forward to sharing that with you and making sure that you have those details. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Jeff and Karin. Why don't you go ahead and take us back to the beginning of this, back to last April 2017.
Yeah, so thank you, Crystal, for that and for having us on here. Hi, everybody on Facebook. I hope you can hear Crystal as well as I know you can see us. We can see each other on the camera. But so it really actually started back almost about now in March end of March, first part of April, I started getting a toothache where I had a root canal and was really sick from that and then a lot of pain. And I started taking some stuff to help with that, some antibiotics, and then it moved into my foot. I woke up one day and stepped down and I about fell over, and I thought, what in the world is that? And I ended up having gout in my right foot. And so I was like, well, that's weird. And then as time progressed over the next couple, 3 weeks, I just wasn't feeling better. I started feeling worse, and I was having low-grade fevers, and I kept taking ibuprofen and Tylenol and everything, and it helped a little bit, but then I started doing that again, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And when was that, Easter?
Yeah, he was so fatigued. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing that I noticed the most was the fatigue. I mean, he could barely walk up our stairs, and then basically have to sit right down. And which most of you that know Jeff know that's not Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff is, he is the Energizer Bunny. He is just a go, 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 go. And so I just thought, you know, something isn't right. You know, I mean, it's beyond this toothache. It's beyond this gout in his foot. Like, we need to have this checked out. And he and I are not big doctor people. We're not, like, we're the last. We wait until the last minute, and that's just how we are. We're kind of like, oh, we can fix this, and, you know, it'll go away. But it just wasn't going away. So I know for me, I was pushing him, let's go. Something is wrong here. And that's kind of what we did. Luckily, we took him to the ER and not one of those urgent care clinics, because we felt like they would just, oh, Mr. Green, you have the flu, go home, rest, and, you know, whatever. And thank God that we didn't do that, because as he's going to share here in a second, it was drastically worse than we could have ever imagined.
Yeah, so I was in the ER, and they took my blood because it was just packed full that day, and they came back a few minutes, I don't know, half hour later or something, and said, come back again, we need to retest your blood because we think we made a mistake, or something's up, and we want to make sure we didn't make a mistake. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound good.
Then about a half hour after that, or maybe it was, I don't know, it was a long time.
Yeah.
And I was feeling pretty bad at this point, very weak, could barely stand up.
No color. He was gray. He was gray. I remember one of the gals, I was looking at him, and, sir, are you okay? And we're like, no, he's not okay.
So they finally came out and said, yeah, we need to get you back here right away. And boom, 3 people were on me and giving me blood and putting all these things on my chest and hooking me up to machines, and people were moving pretty quick. And I thought, uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't at that point when they came to get you to take you back there, didn't you actually almost pass out, or you weren't able to? They had to actually kind of carry you or wheel you back there?
Yeah, Karin had actually stepped out. Our daughter was still in town, and so she was coming to the ER, and Karin had stepped out to help her get into the right spot. And at that moment, they came to get me, and the nurse actually had to put me in a wheelchair to get me back there.
Because he almost, when he tried to stand up, he almost passed out. So, you know, I came in, Anya was there by then. Because I just had this feeling. I was like, this is bad. So I called Anya and said, I need you here. I need you. And so she came up right away. And her and I went back, and he was there, and they were, you know, talking to him and doing more tests and getting his background and history at this point. Yeah.
I'm going to stop for a second. People on the Facebook, can you hear us good? Somebody, Sophie, I can see you on there. Can you give us a quick text and say you can hear us good, or do we need to talk louder?
Can you hear Crystal as well? I think you guys can. There's 8 of you.
Hi, everybody on Facebook Live.
Yeah, okay, good, thanks.
All right, good.
Thank you. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you, Sophie. Stephen, thank you. Barb, hi, Barb. Hey, everybody, hi, Kate.
Good.
Wish you were on the webinar so you could see us both instead of on Facebook, but that's okay. Hi, Susie.
We'll get the kinks worked out and kind of get this all dialed in here, but thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We've got some great information. Just wanted to kind of give some background for those of you that don't know the entirety of that, and then we've got some new information too. So, but back to Jeff. So he, was in the ER that night, and after, long story short, I think everybody knows where we're going with this. After getting his history, after getting the blood work back and all of that, ER doctor came in and she, basically said, I believe in giving it to you straight. We believe you have leukemia. And of course, your heart hits the floor. You're just like in shock. What? So,
yeah.
She said, basically plan on you're here for weeks, if not months, and you're being admitted tonight. And it's really fortunate that looking back on it that we did get him there then, because his platelets were so low. If he had coughed or gotten a sneeze and had any blood, he could have bled out. So they gave him platelets and transfusions that night and got him admitted. Yep. And that was the start of the change in our lives, basically. It's changed the trajectory of our entire lives, our careers, what we've become passionate about, and actually what brings us here to this roundtable tonight, right, Crystal? That's kind of how this whole journey started.
Right, yeah. It was, I remember when you called me, Karin, that was like, what? And now thinking back, all of what's transpired this year, it's just unbelievable, the shift and the change, and actually turned out to be a blessing.
Yeah, it took a while for me to come to that point, though. That's a good point, that I now view it as a blessing. I was blessed with leukemia. I was on a trajectory that was not a good path at that point, and that it was through some discovery over the next several months that I figured that out, that it, some of the things I was doing was not good for me, and that was kind of a wake-up call. So part of my message now to people is don't wait until you're sick like I did.
Yes.
Do something about your life now. Get rid of the stress. Eat right. Quit drinking soda. We're going to go through some of that in a little bit, but don't wait until you're sick. Start doing things about it now.
And I think all of us hear that, but we kind of put it in the back of our minds. And we're not the captains of our own ship in a lot of ways. We need to take control and be the captain of our own ship. Instead of drifting along and kind of just existing, it's important that we take responsibility and become the captain of our own ship so that we don't wait until it's too late and you get a diagnosis like this, and then you're backpedaling, like, oh my gosh, what do I need to do now, to heal myself? So that's kind of like our main message, I think, going forward with what we've learned from all of this is take control now of what your life is and your nutrition and what you're putting in your body and all of that.
And to some degree you can control your environment, but sorry, there was somebody poking around in the backyard, so we're neighbors with their dog. Sorry, we're on hyper alert because we've had stuff stolen out of our backyard before. So anyway, sorry about that. What was I saying? Speaking of that, so they admitted me that night from hell. I'm telling you, you can just get this diagnosis. I can't sleep. And then on top of that, I can't sleep because it's uncomfortable. I'm on a floor where people are yelling every 20 minutes. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is not good. What is going on? And then the next day, the oncologist came in and said, well, we're going to do a biopsy to confirm, but it's showing up in your blood. The other thing we're seeing is that you have a kidney stone. So we're going to speak with the urologist, but more than likely that's going to have to come out before we can start any chemotherapy.
Because then, you know, you're past the point of no return once you start with chemo because it obliterates your immune system. So if for some reason that kidney stone was left in there and it moved at all, or, you know, it could have got infected, and then that's just kind of a death sentence. So here this poor guy, you know, he's in there, he's getting transfusions, he's sick with leukemia, and on top of it, then now it's going to be, we got to take you, the first thing we have to do is give you surgery. Then we're going to give you poison. You know, I mean, it's just like, and it gets worse, but then it gets better. So, but, you know, it just seemed like every time we turned around, there was a new complication and a new blow, you know.
Yeah. Walk us quickly through some of the different blows that you went through. There was quite a string of them. It's like it was this, and then it went down, and then up a little bit, and then something else happened, and you dropped down, and that just kind of progressed for a couple months.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So right after the first round of chemo, which was one of the most harsh chemo treatments that's out there, was given to me, and it's toxic. And so what that did was it destroyed my immune system immediately. And hello, guest, somebody's on there. It destroyed my immune system immediately, and I got a C. diff infection like after it finished, like the next day or the day after that.
Yeah.
And I was down for the count. It almost killed me.
And quickly, for those of you who don't really know much about a C. diff infection, most of us can fight off something like that. They call it a hospital sickness because a lot of people that are immune compromised will catch it in the hospital from nurses kind of maybe accidentally transferring patients' DNA, and, you know. This is what he got, and most of us can fight this off. Yeah, there's a picture of Jeff and what he looked like with his C. diff. I'm sorry, people over on Facebook can't see it, but
yeah,
you can. Well, they've seen
it. And so, anyway, it becomes for somebody that is immune compromised. It can be deadly. I mean, let's just put it that way. He was so sick. I honestly did not know if he was going to make it. He was so sick. So that was the start of kind of like, so it was the kidney stones, and it was the chemotherapy, and then it was this C. diff infection, and then, you know, they've got him stabilized from that after these massive doses of antibiotics, and then kind of got him stabilized. So they did another bone marrow biopsy, but it showed that he still had. So the doctor said, okay, the next thing we can do is we can hit it with another round of chemo and see if that just kind of takes it out completely. So, you know, we really thought about that and felt like, okay, I mean, we're following what is recommended with the oncologist, and poor Jeff had to start his second round of chemo on his birthday.
Yeah. I remember that. We share a birthday, and I was out there visiting you at that time, and I was hoping we could have some sort of a nicer party than that. But it's like, happy birthday! Here's some poison.
Yeah,
exactly.
Thai food, cake, poison.
Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah. So we brought him Thai food, and we had the little patient lounge all set up, and my mom and Rich and a few other people were there. So it was nice and news that he got to do that, but imagine later that evening, you know, they're hooking him up to more poison. So then there's that. And what else, Dave? I mean, it just kind of went from there.
So after that round, it basically, I'm looking at our clock, and I know we're going to try to kind of keep this moving forward a little quicker. It infected my gallbladder. I woke up in pain, one of the worst pains I've had other than kidney stones, and they took me to the MRI and took scans and all that, and no problem, you're fine. I said, I'm not fine, I'm in pain, I'm about ready to fall out of my bed, I'm in such pain, but
Yeah.
it passed, and they just thought it was some bile buildup, and it passed. So they released me a few days later, and this was about, what, 9 weeks?
Yeah.
I'd been in the hospital 9 weeks straight, laying in that bed. That was rough. But I was still in pain, and they actually came and got me with the ambulance and took me back to the ER. I was in such pain one night that I couldn't even get up and walk. And they still said I was fine. And later,
got a photo of that here. Let's share with our audience.
So I told the oncologist, you know, something's not right. I'm still in a lot of pain in my abdomen, and they did some just physical investigation, and I about punched them when they felt a certain area. Oh, you're in pain, aren't you? I said, well, duh, I've been telling you that for the last 4 days. Well, let's get you into nuclear medicine and see if stuff's not showing up on the scans. This will show us. Sure enough, my gallbladder was gangrenously infected and needed to come out. They put me in surgery immediately, which, again, it's near death because
had he waited?
My immune system was down at that point because I was, you know, because of the chemo. So, so a few days, it was July 3rd, I think, I got back home. Yeah. So happy July 4th, Independence Day, yeah. But you have to on the couch.
That was an Independence Day for you, though, because you discovered some things around that time that kick-started you back towards health, and you've done a lot of research and discovered quite a number of things, and you've combined different types of things that you've learned. Tell us about a couple of those.
So one thing we discovered was that I needed to stop eating sugar. I needed to get my body in a more alkaline, less acidic state. So we got through a friend, we got a list of alkaline foods to be eating. So like, you know, in the hospital, I said, is there anything special I should be eating? No, just eat what you want. We want you to eat.
Yeah.
And I said, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, we knew that wasn't quite right. Yeah. Something was off with that, just based on past experiences. And so I started eating different. I stopped eating sugar and completely changed a lot of what I ate, and found out about some different supplements that were important, Body Pro Happy and Body Pro Strong. I started drinking July 4th, and what was it, about 3 weeks or so later, I think, I was on my feet again. I mean,
I know, he was.
Yeah, so you can kind of tell more about what you saw.
Yeah, he was doing projects around the house. He was really, I was like, wow, like, okay, like he's really bouncing back, and just thinking, okay, well, this is good. We're on the right track. He must be doing really good. But just a little background, like, you don't eat sugar. I mean, sugar, cancer, the fuel that feeds cancer is sugar. Yeah. And sugar cannot survive in an alkaline environment. And our bodies are either acidic or they're alkaline. So this is why it's so important to be eating an alkaline-rich diet. We have an ebook about that we have and all that. We're more than happy to get this information out because we feel very strongly about this. But getting back to him, so yeah, he was, you know, eating right. He was supplementing with, well, Body Pro at the time, which was fantastic. And he was getting better sleep and just really trying to focus on feeding his body and repairing his immune system, repairing his mitochondria, repairing his, you know, everything about his body in order to fix what they demolished, essentially, you know, with the chemo. Yeah. So, yeah.
Stephen Whitney is asking, what's the name of the ebook? Crystal will put a link.
We'll post that at the end.
We'll post that.
Yeah, we'll post a link to that.
Hands on that. Very vital for everybody to be eating that way. And we're gonna talk a little bit about I know the title of the Roundtable deal here was fueled by fat, and that's another thing that we've learned that that we'll start talking about here in a little bit more time. But where are we going from here?
Well, you at one point they pushed you to have a bone marrow transplant, but then they backed off of that. But then you discovered that
they never backed off.
Well, you backed them off.
Yeah.
So they kind of said, okay. They didn't really like that. Of course, doctors are trained in one way of thinking, and so they give advice based on what they've been trained in, and that's how everybody operates. But you were looking for other solutions. You discovered that through another biopsy that the cancer cells had increased again in September, so you were weighing back and forth what to do, and you decided to go ahead and do a third round of chemo to kind of buy yourself some time to think about other options and things.
And that's exactly what it was. It was to buy us some more time because we knew we wanted to go a different route. We just, basically the oncologist scared us.
Yeah. And
he projected numbers of, well, you know, based on what we're seeing, here's what it's going to double to, and then double to that, and then double to that, and we're like, whoa, we need some time to get some of these other things in place because we don't want to do them. Basically, a bone marrow biopsy is near a death sentence.
Bone marrow transplant.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bone marrow transplant. I told the oncologist one day when I was in the hospital, when he was in there talking to me about it, I said, you know, I'm looking at that as a Hail Mary. And he looked at me real strange. He said, well, don't think of it that way. I said, well, what are the odds? Well, 50, you know, maybe 55, 60% chance. I said, 50-50. That's a Hail Mary. Either it works or it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no, well, it sort of worked. No, it works or it does. That's a Hail Mary pass. And he kept saying, I don't think of it that way. So we knew we didn't want to do that.
That was
we just needed more time. So
because you don't have an escape hatch. You know, there's go down that road and it's a big deal. And at this point, we had been educating ourselves and really studying up on alternative sources of healing, because Jeff and I believe strongly in fueling our bodies with good nutrition and really taking care of our bodies. And we feel like God put on this earth everything we need. And it's not, it's right outside our doors, in our gardens. It's in the, you know, everything we're growing. And so Western medicine, they just don't educate us that way. It's like they write a prescription for whatever symptom you have and you kind of go out the door. And so we were researching all kinds of different avenues, and we came across CHIPSA Hospital, which is down in Mexico, and they have a fantastic program there that is an alternative care program that is actually treating and curing cancer. Like, people are going down there and they are coming back 100% healthy. And it's through high-dose vitamin C infusions. It's through hyperbaric oxygen treatment. It's through all kinds of, you know, plant-based juicing and supplements and all of these things. And we knew that's what he needed. We felt so strongly that that's what he needed, that if we did any more Western medicine, it would kill him. Because he got pneumonia after his last round of chemo. He was back in the ICU. I was terrified that he was going to die. My friends, thank God for my friends. Love you guys. They rallied around and got our girl here, because I didn't know at that point. And so that was it. I mean, he said, you know what, I'm never doing this again, and I will either just let myself fade away and die if that's the path that I'm going to be on, but I'm not going to do this chemo again. I'm not going to do a bone marrow transplant. But, you know, thank God that he listened to his intuition, we listened to our gut, and just one thing led to another. We got led to the Mount Rainier Clinic, which is in Gig Harbor, Washington.
That was a God thing.
Yes,
yes,
really did.
That was amazing. That all transpired. So. And
Dr. Colbo, who I remember meeting him, and he's this short little guy and a little ponytail, and he's just so sweet. And he says, you know, he was holding on to Jeff's file after we were talking to him, and he's holding on to the file, and he says, you know, I'm a believer. And, you know, and I said, we said, oh, well, good, we are too. And he says, good, okay, that makes me happy. He says, I'm going to take your file home. I'm going to pray about this. I'm going to take it home, and I'm just really going to pray over your file. I'm going to pray over you, and really just, you know, because he believes in that spiritual component. And that after that, I think Jeff and I were like, okay, this is our man. You know, he wasn't trying to be a Bible thumper or anything like that. It was just a very gentle approach that I really want you to know that I'm looking at you from the total package, and that from your health, from your spiritual health, all of those things. And so we really felt like that was a miracle for us to find him. And from then on, Jeff's been receiving treatments. At one point, it was almost daily, and now he's scaled back. He's still going and doing, you know, quite a few treatments. But it's been a life changer for us and for him. And I know the last time that we went to see his oncologist, Dr. Chavez, he just was like, okay, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because you look great. You just, everything is perfect. Your blood work is perfect. You're looking so healthy, so trim, so fit, so handsome.
Oh, he said you're handsome.
I don't know what that is. But so, you know, and he basically kind of was like, you know what? Unless anything changes, I don't really feel like I need to see you until let's maybe plan for 6 months, 9 months. You know, we'll keep in touch and all of that. And I want you to, you know, come in and get blood work every once in a while just to make sure nothing gets flagged. And we're like, thank you. You know, it's working. All of this is working. You know, going out to Dr. Colbo, doing all your supplements, feeding your body the nutrition that it needs. It's working. And you know, we're going to beat this, and we're not going to have to do any more of these crazy poisons and all of that.
Yeah.
So I know. Go ahead.
Tell us a little bit. One of the sources that you've pointed out, you're talking about fat as fuel instead of sugar, and that's a big switch for a lot of people. And there's quite a bit of research out there, and there's a particular book that you've been looking at that cares about that, and also kind of like how that ties into mitochondria. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I actually have it right here with me. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Fat for fuel. Turning it over here to the Facebook camera. Fat for Fuel by Dr. Joseph Mercola. Can you see that?
I can see that. I've got a copy here. I'll hold it up so people can see that.
We'll have the links for all of these, everything that, you know, we're talking about. We'll have those linked up for you.
So I wanted to read a little bit about just a little background about Dr. Mercola. He's been around quite a while. Just a little bit of background about what he's been involved in. In the early 1980s, he recommended improving gut microflora as a way to treat ulcers rather than using prescription drugs. I was widely criticized by all of my supervising physicians for promoting this new idea. Years later, I was vindicated when it eventually became the standard of care. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Similarly, I was the first to publicly warn of the dangers of the anti-inflammatory drug Vioxx. 1 year before the drug was approved for sale in the U.S., I told my newsletter readers that this was a dangerous drug that could cause heart disease and stroke. Sure enough, 4 years after Vioxx was released, Merck voluntarily, that's the drug company, they voluntarily withdrew it from the market, but not before it had killed 60,000 people.
Oh my goodness.
So this guy's on the cutting edge of things. He understands what's going on in the medical industry and what you should and should not be doing. I wanted to read that because of that. And now I'm going to read what he says about mitochondria. And that's kind of been the crux of this whole message today, is how important. We started doing a lot of research on that because of some things that we were exposed to that we'll get into in a little bit. But so I did a lot of research, and I actually found a medical research report by a company that did some experiment, or not experiments, what's it called? Studies on, like a clinical study on patients that had chemotherapy that had leukemia and patients that didn't have it, and what that did to their mitochondria. In 0 of the patients that had chemotherapy, none of them did it affect their mitochondria DNA. All of the patients that had chemotherapy, it mutated the DNA of their mitochondria, which then leads to other cancers.
And mitochondria, if I'm understanding correctly, that's the building blocks of our body.
I'm going to explain what that is when I read this. So that got me really involved in, okay, I need to get my mitochondria fixed because I've not only damaged it once, but 3 times. And that's just going to lead to more problems. So I'm going to read this real quick from Dr. Mercola's introduction in his book. Mitochondria, tiny energy factories within your cells that use a metabolic process to convert the food you eat and the air you breathe into energy, are at the core of what is causing your biological systems to go haywire in the first place, making you vulnerable to cancer and most other chronic diseases. When large numbers of mitochondria in your body stop functioning properly, it is simply impossible to stay healthy. This is an enormously empowering shift in how we approach cancer and all chronic diseases. If disease starts as a result of a metabolic dysfunction, we can heal that dysfunction. How? That's what this book will show you, how to carefully choose nutrients and employ other strategies that turn on your body's innate ability to prevent and heal from disease. In its most distilled form, the theory that drives this book is that food choices you make every day directly impact your mitochondria. And if you make food choices that boost the health of your mitochondria, you also make it much less likely that the genetic material that's housed in your mitochondria will become damaged and trigger a chain reaction that is more likely than not to result in a disease.
Oh my goodness.
So to sum that up, the mitochondria are the powerhouses in your cell. They're what cause us to function at an optimal rate, at an optimal life. And when those become damaged, things get screwed up and you get sick. You're tired, you don't have stamina anymore, you grow old faster.
You're susceptible to more diseases.
You're susceptible to more sicknesses and diseases. So it's very important to keep your mitochondria functioning at an optimal rate. And in the book, he goes into how we eat completely wrong as Americans, and we need to start implementing more fat into our diets. Less carbohydrates. Yeah, not like bacon grease.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, olive oils, other oils.
And I know we'll get more into that in some more as we have more of these discussions. But that kind of leads us into the. I talked a little bit about the Body Pro Happy and Strong earlier, how that affected me kind of after that first round of getting me back on my feet. It was just, I was so nutrient deprived that that's what it did. It's not a cure for anything. I need to make that clear, that we're not making that claim about it at all. But what it did was it gave my body what it needed to start taking care of itself. So we learned about how they were coming out with something that took many, many years of research and development that was going to affect the mitochondria. And of course, I I perked right up and said, mitochondria, oh, what's this?
I've been studying about
I've been studying about this, and I found this
Yeah.
report that I need something to help me, and I don't really have time to wait for eating properly to do it all. What do you got? And so Body Pro 10 came out in October, and I started taking it in November, and so doing that along with all the protocols out at Mount Rainier Clinic is, I believe, what has given my body to help heal itself.
Wow.
Based on what Dr. McCullough just said in his book, that explains why things are going on the way they are in my body. So it's vitally important that we take care of our mitochondria, and you can eat optimally to a point, but it's been a full-time job for me to get healthy, quite frankly. I have not had a whole lot of time to do anything else except be careful what I eat, take time to prepare it right, juicing a lot, and then going to the clinic. And then, I mean, by that time I'm worn out and I'm done, and that's a full-time job. People don't have time for that. They need help, and that's where good supplements come into play. So, yes, there's what Dr. McCullough lines out in his book, and that's helpful, and everybody should get their hands on this book and eat the way he says. But I would say, again, our message early on was don't wait till you're sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get your hands on some Body Pro 10 and get that into your body to help your mitochondria so that you don't have to go through what we've been through.
And you know that one of the things is you're not going to get this information from your doctors. You're not going to go in there and you're going to go in there and say, hey, you know, I'm suffering with chronic fatigue, or I'm having these symptoms, or I'm feeling this way or that way. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, here's a prescription for you, and it's some synthetic weird thing that's going to sort of target whatever your symptom is. But they're not helping you cure and heal the foundational building blocks of our bodies. And so, okay, you've got that symptom that's gone, but something else is going to crop up, something else, and on, and then pretty soon you have an autoimmune disease, or you have cancer, or you have diabetes, or you have all these different things that will come on you, and you have no idea, and you just kind of, like we did, you just go to your doctor, and okay, doc, whatever you say. So take it from us, like, be your biggest advocate, like, research it. Don't let them scare you into doing things. You have time. You have the ability to take a little step back, think about it, do your research, figure out what's going on, flood your body with good nutrients, flood your body with good supplements, read books, like find out about your health, be the captain of your own ship, take responsibility for your for what's going on with your health, because you don't want to be put into a position where you're then backtracking and trying to heal yourself. Do it now, be proactive, and I think that's like the biggest message that we have, myself, Jeff, Crystal, and a lot of us that feel passionate about this, is we really feel like everybody needs the education, the information, and to be encouraged to take control of their own lives. I know for me, I've actually enrolled in school to go back to school because this has become such a big passion for me with what's happened with Jeff and not knowing. And so I feel like I've enrolled in school to go back for a nutrition and wellness coaching with a cancer sort of wing on that. And so for me, I want to be able to do this, to help people in this way and help them understand all disease, unless you're genetically born with something, all disease stems from the systemic problem going on with your mitochondria, with your nutrition, and what's happening is things are then coming in invaders, and they're actually taking over, whether it's cancer, whether it's, diabetes, bugs, candida,
inflammatory.
Yeah, and so if we can take care of that building block and get that strong, then everything else can be, well, most of the time can go away. So we feel strongly about that. I know Chris was going to have in the notes after today or somebody's writing to us, sorry, we will have all this information out there, the book information, the ebook information, the information about Body Pro, you know, the 10, the Happy, the Strong. I drink the Strong because I love it. It floods my body with good nutrients, so I love that too. And I do take the 10. And I do other supplements too, just that I get from the regular health food store because I know I'm a little deficient in some areas. So, but like I said, I think most of us, or all of us, are really encouraging people to take control of your health now. Yeah. Don't wait.
Yeah, don't wait.
Yeah. Don't wait.
Don't wait.
So
that's my story too.
So this is kind of, you know, it's woken us up and put our lives on a different path where we want to take what we've learned and we're very passionate about helping other people to not have to go through what we've been through, or if other people are in the same or similar situation, we're going to be putting together a nonprofit organization to help out because insurance doesn't pay for anything other than drugs and surgery and cut, burn, slash, and whatever you know.
Or synthetics.
Yeah.
Don't pay for synthetics.
Yeah.
You know.
But so we want to have a fundraising campaign as part of the nonprofit once we get that all set up here in the next several months and be able to give back because people have really stepped up and helped us out a lot. And so we're pushing our lives into a different direction, and part of it is being passionate about getting the message out about you need to stop eating certain foods and start eating other ones. You won't go hungry. When you start substituting the proper fats, the good fats, for carbohydrates and sugar, and actually there's this big push on protein. You don't need that much protein. You need certain amounts of good protein, but not excessive amounts of it. And that's all in Dr. McCullough's book. When you start doing that, you feel such a difference in your energy levels, and you're gonna start to see your body functioning at a better rate.
Feel your vitality comes back and all of that. Mm-hmm. You just feel stronger, healthier, happier.
Yeah.
You know, all of that, and that's what's so important. But one of the things that we plan on doing these roundtables every week because we really want to get people educated. We want to help them with education and all of that. And so one thing that we would love for people to do is either email us.
Good point, Sophie. I see your text, Sophie. We'll talk about that in a second. Good point.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Sophie. So we want, and that's a good one, Sophie, because my point here is that I want everybody to send us a topic that you would like to know more about. 9 times out of 10, we've researched it. I mean, this past year has been nothing but research. And like I said, I'm enrolled in school right now, so I'm actually going to be taking classes on nutrition and health and, you know, parts of chemistry and biology and all of that and how it works in our bodies. And so leave us a topic that you'd like us to discuss. We are more than happy to research that, and we would, if we don't know about it, then it's important for us to research it. So, you know, when this is all done, make sure that you're reaching out, either dropping us a line on Facebook or send us an email. But Sophie's here on live wanted us to talk about the importance of amalgam removal by a biodentist. And what that is for those of you that don't know, well, I honestly didn't remember what amalgam was, but it's a filling. And a lot of us that are, you know, our age, older, I don't think they're doing it anymore, maybe they are, but we all have mercury fillings. And heavy metals that are in our mouths actually can contribute to cancer and other disease. And so what happens is every time you chew, it sends a microplume of mercury right into your body and actually damage your body with heavy metals. So it's really important to have not a dentist, but an actual biodentist, and they specialize in actually having the right equipment to take out mercury safely without allowing it to break up in your mouth and cause even further problems. So for those of you that have a lot of mercury in your mouth, you need to have that taken, have it removed and refilled with something on a safer. It's important.
And it has to be done by a biodentist because standard dentists don't know. Yeah, that's correct. I see your message, Kate. Mercury was mixed with the silver to make fillings. That's correct.
Right, right.
And that has to be taken out of your mouth in the correct manner by a biodentist that's been specially trained in doing that. Otherwise, it can lead to other issues.
And it leaches into through your gum. It leaches into your body. And heavy metal poisoning is at an all-time high. And a lot of it is from mercury, and a lot of it is from other things that we have. And our bodies can't remove it. So what happens is we get a buildup of that in our liver, and we get a buildup in our blood, and all of that. So then it can convert into things like cancer and other problems. So if you can go and get a screening done at a naturopathic or even just a regular doctor and ask for a toxic metals screen. And if you're high, you can do what's called a chelation process, where they'll actually remove the toxic heavy metals from your body. So there's ways that can be improved. It's not, you just have to be ready to find out about it.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good topic to explore more for one of our roundtables.
Yeah, and that's going to be kind of next on my list of what we're doing for my health, because I still have old fillings that have to come out. We actually found a biodentist here in this area that I'm going to be talking to get set up to get those procedures done with him. I'm going to have him check my root canal. The tooth was removed, but we need to make sure everything is out of there. Thank you to a generous dentist took care of that for free when we were needing that done before the next round of chemo, and that was great to have that out. But I want to get it. It was done very quickly, and just obviously he did it for free, so I'm very grateful for that. But I want to have somebody really follow up with it, and somebody that's been specially trained in those kind of things, and make sure those are taken care of. So we can get into that on another roundtable. And I know, Crystal, weren't we going to kind of try to open this up for any questions and answers? I know we're clipping along on time here, but
yeah, we can take a few questions. If anybody that needs to go ahead and leave, we're still recording this, so you can get in on this. But we'll go for maybe about 10 minutes and see if any questions pop up from any of our listeners on both forums that we've got going here.
Yeah, we do have one here.
Yeah. Susie Lester says, did the marijuana tincture help you? And the short answer is yes. It definitely helped. It was, we figured that it was starting to, I don't react well to THC apparently, and it was starting to kind of wig me out a little bit, so I stopped taking that a little while back. But I know it played a part.
Yeah,
and one of the big things that we haven't talked about yet is all the prayer. I know I've gone through a lot of emotional healing along with everything else that we've done for my body, which we'll get into that in a whole nother.
Well, the spiritual component, how that plays a factor into your health too. So
that'll be another
definitely
topic.
Have that as a topic. But back to the marijuana, we do believe very strongly in CBD, THC, and each person's body is going to react differently to it. So you have to, it's something you kind of have to play around with. But CBD with THC is shown to kill cancer cells.
Yep.
And it's also obviously very good for pain. It's very good for sleep. But really, people with cancer, it is scientifically proven to actually kill cancer cells. Yep. So, but for some people, you just kind of have to play around with it and figure out what's going to be best for you, what the ratios are. We're not experts in that field, but it certainly is something that anybody with cancer should look into. And anybody that really experiences chronic pain is a better alternative than any of the synthetics that are out there.
Yep.
It does not destroy your liver. It doesn't destroy your body. And there's some toxic pain meds that are out there that can really wreak havoc on your body.
They can kill you.
If it's at all possible to get your doctor to give you a prescription for, you know, CBD, THC, you can get it in oil, you can get it in paste, you can get it in pills, you can get it in drinks, you can smoke it, you can, I mean, there's so many different options of being able to consume, and we stand behind how important that is too.
Good question, Susie. And when we kind of talk about that more on another one, we're doing a lot of research now on actually juicing the cannabis plant and how much more potent that is and how much more it brings healing to your body than either the oil or smoking it. So we'll save that for a whole nother discussion, but it's vital. Good question, Susie. Thank you. Yeah, it has made a difference for sure. It's what we found is that it's a combination of all the stuff that we've been doing that is what's going on. So
yeah. Any other questions before we wrap this up? We don't really want to take up too much more time because we're at the hour mark here. So anybody else who has a question, just let us know.
Yeah, if anybody wants to make comments on the live video, we will post some links for you. The main website where you can sign up for future roundtables, let me go ahead and my screen right now. Not that one. Hang on. It's TodayIsAllYouHave.com/blog/weekly-roundtables. If you go there, there's a sign-up link, and you can find out when and what time, and the link for the next roundtable is at, and we'll get that information out to you, and the next topic.
Yeah.
So
for you, all of you watching on live on Facebook, it's TodayIsAllYouHave.com. That's our website. You can kind of go on there and explore, and then you can also sign up, like she said, for our weekly educational roundtables. Leave us comments with what topics you'd like us to discuss and talk about. Some of it will be from personal experience. Some of it will be from stuff we've read and learned. And then our goal is actually to start inviting other people and having them tell and share their stories and what's been working for them. So this is kind of tonight is our kickoff with this.
Yay!
Yay! This has been a long time coming. We've really been, Jeff and Crystal have spent every single day, blood, sweat, and tears, working on this website, really researching and getting this direction for us. So please show them a lot of support, and myself too, because I'm involved as well, but especially for Jeff and Crystal, who've really spent a lot of time getting this up and going. So we plan on continuing these indefinitely. I think it's going to be on Thursday nights, is what I understood.
Stay tuned for that one.
But it might be more than that. It might be less. We don't know, but all we know is we're committed to bringing you guys as much good information and education as we can. And so hopefully you got something out of this, and contact us. We have all the information for the book, for supplements, for our outreach clinic if you're interested in that, and all of that good stuff. So thank you guys for hanging in there with us and watching and listening, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. This was a good opener, good first roundtable.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And with that, we will say goodbye to everybody. Hope you have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time zone it is you're in. And we'll catch you next week.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.